compelling case how HR can be a catalyst for success and return on investment. And some of this content, in fact, a degree of this content is what I talk to people like chief executives about, finance directors, legal directors. I use some of this on Tuesday to sports leaders in Lisbon. So, this is a chief executive. They want no drama, growing business profit market, happy customers, increasing share values and performance, and they want to look good compared to all the other chief executives, because it's about looking good in the chief executive club. This is a finance director. They want more money in than out, minimal risk, maximum return of investment for lowest cost, predictability, good data and rational thinking. And if you present a really good business case, you might get a wodge of that money on condition that you get a return that is greater than the wodge of money initially given. That's the challenge. Those are the people we have to deal with. Going to your data that I kindly extracted from Dave's slides. Key drivers of sustained success, according to chief executives, 63% said human capital, 63% said customer relationships. My point is that they are both critically interlinked. Customers talk to people. 82% see collaboration and flexibility as the most important characteristics of employees. Who develops that? Who can enhance the capability of employees to do that? HR. 69% think inspirational leadership is key to success, although I suspect that less than 20% of them are probably demonstrating it personally, but let's not worry about that. Of course, if you ask them, they will of course say that they are inspirational leaders. This is related to success. This is what HR can help with. I make the comment, or I will make the comment about what does inspirational leadership mean? Does it mean the chief executive? So, the other thing I think is interesting is I often do a presentation similar to this to financial people. And on 3 occasions I've been asked to present to the fellows of the Chartered Securities Institute. For those of you that don't know, these are fund managers, private equity people, and this particular group of people is not known for their emotional intelligence, cuddliness, or things like that. They are interested in return on investment and organizations producing the maximum return as fast as possible. So I said to them, well, look, think about this concept. We have the concept of operational risk, regulatory risk, and all sorts of other risk. Why don't we think about the risk of lost profit? What is the risk of lost profit, Chris? The risk of lost profit is the amount between the current level of profitability and that the organisation is currently producing and that which it should be able to produce if it was functioning effectively. Example, if we had competent leaders at all levels, that would maximise our effort and performance. 2, if we had fit for purpose and effective systems, we would minimise the lost time and resources that were not necessary. 3, if we had clear vision, values and strategy, everyone would be able to align their work to, which would maximise effort alignment on strategic outcomes. 4, if we optimise collaboration and entrepreneurial leadership, that would maximise the leverage of current capability and also deliver potential opportunity. 5, constant innovation and improvement, that would provide us with a fit for future and leading edge organisation. And investors are starting to look at these things already. I say that there is an absolutely rock solid case for HR to say, lost profit, we in HR can help you deal with potential of lost profit. Because investors are starting to look at things like employee engagement, etc., and saying, well, hang on, if your data for these KPIs related to this sort of stuff is only this, you're underperforming. And particularly if you're within the hands of private equity, they know you're underperforming. So I think there's a massive opportunity for HR. Why? Here's some data picked up from various surveys. 88% of people say in the last 2 years they have significantly more work. 55% of them say that they now have so much work they cannot get it done in the same day. Thus, they are getting more and more behind every day. 40%, 30 to 40% is the average underestimate of how long a job will take that line managers give their bosses when asked. So thus, from that point onwards, everything else is off the rails. 60% of people wanted to give their best to the organisation, Why 40% don't ask me, we'll explore that later. 42% say that giving their best is blocked by the organisation's own system because it obstructs them in delivering what they're being asked to deliver. Under 30% we know from ballpark figures are probably engaged, so 70% don't really care what happens. 40% want to escape from their boss as soon as possible. And what is more worrying is that 44% say they're not getting enough sleep due to worry at work, which in my view in 2018 is unacceptable. If you look at all of those, HR is the key player in terms of dealing with them. Simple basics are key for HR. This is how I explain to chief executives how they need to think about how their organisation works. Look, there's you at the top having great ideas. Remember, this slide is for chief executives, so it has to be great ideas. I accept my experience of professional service firms and many other organisations is that some of the people at the top really have no clue what they're there for. They have no strategy other than make as much money as possible. That makes life difficult. How does success happen? How does stuff get done? Let's keep it simple. We have great ideas at the top. Somewhere further down the organisation are people who make it happen. And that's what delivers success. And somewhere in the middle are what I call the translational leaders. Those people that translate the great plans into things that people genuinely want to do and put effort into. And if those translational leaders are not working effectively, all my experience shows me the system breaks down. Because even if these people are motivated and these people have the great ideas, the connection is not made. If these people are motivated, the problem is if this isn't working, they don't know what they're motivated for. So that is how I think we need to get our head around how organisations are structured. But it's a two-way communication, not a one-way communication. Flipping it round, let's look at it from the bottom up, because I think that's critical as well. So, let's go right to the bottom. And here we have an employee. The employee is going into work every day and they're asking the simple question, 1, do I believe in what this organisation is asking me to do? 2, have they given me the capability to do it? Simple question, very important. The passionate employee. I have a boss. Do I believe in my boss, or are they an idiot? Do they have the capability to be a boss, both functional and leadership? And then further up the organisation, there are senior leaders. Do I believe in those people at the top? Research would suggest that less than 35% of people in British organisations trust the people at the top of their organisations. Do those people at the top have the capability to pull together all the stuff that we as humble employees are doing into something that seems to work effectively and allow us to help them deliver success? Yes or no? And if anything in that system is not working, you have a problem. In the end, my perspective is it's about two things. Leadership, do we believe? Capability, can we do? And if we think about that from the HR perspective in terms of what we are enabling, that, I think, helps us get around what is HR supposed to be doing.